Hi class, this is section 2.4, and this section is titled average rate of change. So there's two formulas we're going to look at. The average rate of change would be average rate of change is f of t2 minus f of t1 over t2 minus t1. It's essentially the slope formula. And the net change formula is the same thing, it's just the numerator. It's just f of t2 minus f of t1. All right, so for this first one, we have 2 points. We have 1, 2 and 4, 4. This will be our second point, and this will be our first point. All right, so let's go ahead and do this, or, this would be x1, y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. So it comes down to just finding the slope. So the first part says they want the net change, so we're just doing the numerator. So we're not going to divide by the difference of the x's. We're only going to divide by the difference. We're only going to take the difference of the y's. So it's going to be the y coordinates. So that would be 4 minus 2, which is 2. That's the net change. 4, take away 2. All right, the average rate of change is going to be the same formula divided by the difference of the x's. The difference of the x's is 4 minus 1. So it's going to be 4 minus 1, which is 3. So that would be 2/3. That's all there is to this section. Same thing. So here we have 0, 5. Here we have 5, 2. So let's do the net change first. The net change would be the difference of the y's, so 2 minus 5, which is -3. And then the average rate of change, we simply have to divide by the difference of the x's. 5 take away 0, which is 5, so -3/5. This one's a little bit more challenging because it has a variable h, but it's the same exact formula. So let's do the net change first, which is just the difference of the y coordinates. So let's go ahead and plug in our first point. So let's plug in this one first. That'll be our f of t2, and then we'll do f of t1. This will be our t1. Whoops. And this will be our t2. So f of t2 is 2 times 4 plus h to the second power minus, well, then we'll do that one below here. F of t1 is 2 times 4 to the second power, which is 32. So this one we have to expand out. So if you expand that binomial out, you're going to get 16 plus 8h plus h squared. Then you need to distribute, and that'll be 32 plus 16h plus 2h squared. And so now when you take f of 2 t squared minus f of t1, you're going to get this entire expression up above that we just found, minus 32. And as you can see, the 32's cancel. So our final answer is just going to be, I'm going to reverse the order. 2h squared, I'll put that first, but it doesn't really matter. 2h squared plus 16h would be our answer for that. All right, and then remember the average rate of change is just that divided by the difference in the t's. So 4 plus h minus 4. And there you get cancellation as well. So you're just going to get the denominator to be h because of the 4's that cancel out. So that's going to be it. And actually we can simplify a little. So if you factor out an h from the numerator, you'll get 16 plus 2h divided by h. And as you can see, the h's cancel. So our final answer is 16 plus 2h for the average rate of change. I'll call that 2h plus 16 but it doesn't matter. You can put the 16 first if you'd like. The last problem is very similar to what we just did. So once again, I'm going to call this one T2, and this will be my T1. So f of T2 minus f of T1 will be 7 over a plus h minus 7 over a. All right, so for this one, we're going to need a common denominator, which would be a plus h. And then here we're going to have to multiply this by a. And here we're going to have to multiply by a plus h. That's how we get our common denominator. And so now we're going to have 7a minus 7a plus h. So once we distribute, we're going to get 7a minus 7a minus 7h over a plus h, cancellation. And so we end up with negative 7h over a plus h is our final answer for net change. And remember, for the average rate of change, we're just going to divide by the difference in the t's, which is going to be a plus h minus a. And as you can see, the a's will cancel. So it's going to be the same thing, but divided by a. So when you divide by by h, that's nice because all you have to do is just cancel out the h, the two h's. H and h cancel. So your final answer will be negative 7 over a plus h. And that concludes this section.